first lesson in Module 3, Leveraging the Facebook Toolset. Today we're going to be talking all about campaign objectives. And you may or may not know it, but Facebook currently has 13 different campaign objectives that you can choose from. Every single one of these has a very specific purpose. I'm going to show you what each campaign objective does, and I'm going to give you some really valuable insight that I've learned having spent over $100,000 just in the last 6 months on advertising into picking the campaign objective that's right for you. Now, the majority of Facebook advertisers are all looking for the same thing. We want leads and sales, but picking the wrong campaign objective will get you neither of those. So if you're after either leads or sales, picking the right campaign objective is not only the first thing you're going to be doing in Facebook, it's also one of the most important things. Now, I've got a little visual representation here that I want to use to show you why picking the right campaign objective really matters. Now let's look at this pie chart. This is a simple pie chart that's literally 100%. This represents the audience that you want to market to. Now, if you pick a campaign objective that sends 100% of the people in your audience your advertisement, keep in mind you are advertising to everybody in that audience, regardless of whether they really match the objective that you're after. Now let's say, for instance, you're trying to sell red t-shirts on Facebook. Even if you do an amazing job profiling the ideal buyer on Facebook, it may be that only 20% of the people inside that audience are likely to purchase your red t-shirt. Facebook does something really well that most ad platforms can't even touch. Facebook analyzes their users' behavior on the Facebook platform, and they memorize the actions that people take in response to ads and other posts on Facebook. What this means for us as advertisers is that rather than just throwing a whole handful of spaghetti on the wall and hoping a couple strands stick, we can actually identify people who have already taken the behavior that we want them to take with us and only send our ads directly to those people. In Module 1, we talked a lot about nailing down your avatar client and making sure you profile that person correctly. We also talked about a principle that we called the 80-20 principle, meaning that 80% of our results are going to come from 20% of the people that we market to. Well, if we really want to put that into practice, we need to make sure that our campaign objective has that same intent in mind. Now, maybe your market's a little bit different. Maybe 40% of the people inside of the audience you define are likely to take that action. But if you don't choose the correct campaign objective, you could end up sending it to 100% of people. And just think about the fact that you could be spending more than 3 times the amount of money you need to spend if you're not optimizing your campaigns correctly. So without belaboring the point, let's jump right in and look at the campaign objectives, what each one of them does, and which ones you should be using for your campaigns. When you open up your Facebook Ads Manager, you're going to see a screen that looks exactly like this, with all of the various Facebook campaign objectives right in front of you. So why are there so many campaign objectives? Well, even beyond the targeting that you do when you create your audience, Facebook will display your ads to people who are more likely to take the action you choose in your campaign objective. This means that if you define your audience and you see that that audience, for instance, has 100,000 people in it, Facebook will only display the ad to people within that audience who are likely to take the desired action that you choose. This is primarily based off the previous behavior that people have had interacting with Facebook. Now, this is both a positive and can be a frustrating negative thing for advertisers as well. Let's just say, for instance, we select an audience with 100,000 people, we run our ads, they're converting pretty well, but all of a sudden something that Facebook calls frequency starts to creep up. Frequency is the average number of times that somebody inside of your audience has seen your ads. And once that frequency gets too high, it can damage the quality score of our ads. These are all things that we'll cover in more detail further on inside of this module. But when that happens, what it means is even though you've got this audience of 100,000 people that you could market to, maybe only 40% or 30% or 20% of the people match the campaign objective, and those are the only ones seeing your ad. So in order to avoid this or to capitalize it, depending on which way you look at it, you need to understand what each campaign objective does so that you can use it when the time and place really fits. Now, the first thing I want to look at is the one right here that you'll see is called boosted posts. Now, why would you want to use a boosted post? Well, the primary reason is to reach your existing Facebook likes. Let's just say you've managed a page that's got 200,000 people that have liked that page. A boosted post is one way that you can send an advertisement to more of those people. Did you know that the average organic reach of a post today is only 2.6% and that number continues to go down? Why is that? Obviously, Facebook wants to monetize the traffic that they're giving us, and they're going to make us pay for that. I don't use a whole lot of boosted posts, but here are the advantages of boosted posts if that's something that you want to use for your business. First of all, you can make sure that a larger number of your existing followers are going to see your post. You can also send that post to friends or connections of people who already like your page. If you ever see a page that comes up and says, it might say, Jonathan, your friend likes this page, or two of your friends like this page, chances are they're targeting you with a boosted post and they're really trying to push that reach out and get more and more people to like their page. That's not a feature exclusive to boosted posts, but that's oftentimes the way that we see them. Now, the reasons that I don't like boosted posts are actually a lot more than the reasons I do like boosted posts. The first reason I don't like him is that you have very limited targeting options. In fact, the default option when you create a boosted post is to not do any targeting. It's simply to send that post to your existing page likes. You do have some targeting options inside of a boosted post, but it's nothing like what we'll see in the ads manager for a clicks to website or a conversion campaign that we'll cover later. The second reason I don't like it is that they're not optimized for a conversion. Again, we covered the fact that the majority of Facebook advertisers are after one of two things. They either want sales or they want leads. This is not optimized for either one of those things. Another reason that boosted posts can present a challenge is that they appear both as an advertisement to the people you're targeting or the page followers and to people who are already on your page. Let's just say, for instance, that you have an introductory offer and you say 50% off your first order. Well, your existing customers might be frustrated with that because somebody else is getting a better deal than them. A boosted post is going to show up on your actual newsfeed and to the people that you're targeting. Most of the other ad types that we're going to look at later on are what people call dark posts. This means that they only appear to the people that you target and they're not going to appear in your timeline. Finally, the last reason I don't really like boosted posts is that it primarily promotes engagement on your Facebook page. These are things like likes and shares and comments. All of these things happen inside of the Facebook universe. So if it's optimized for engagement on Facebook, that means they're never leaving Facebook to go to your actual page. It also decreases the potential that you're going to be able to pixel those people and have some really valuable data to use later on when you're trying to sell something else. The next campaign objective that we're going to look at here is called promote your page. I like to call this an engagement campaign. The first thing you need to know right off the bat is that when they say promote your page, they're talking about your Facebook page. This is not your website. So again, the engagement we're going to get from this type of campaign is all happening inside of the Facebook universe. Some people refer to this as a likes campaign. We want to increase the number of people that like our page, so we're going to do this promote your page campaign and get more people to like it. Now, Facebook does push this as a way for people to get more likes on their page, but we just looked at the fact that organic engagement is way, way, way down. So it kind of creates this vicious cycle of having to pay for people who like your page and then also pay to reach the people who already like your page. Now, if you do a really good job of engaging with people who already follow your Facebook page, your engagement percentage could be a lot higher than the 2.6% that we talked about earlier. So it's not always a bad idea to run a likes campaign, but for the majority of people who are out there seeking leads and sales, this isn't going to do it for you. The third campaign that we're going to look at is called Reach People Near Your Business. I call this a local campaign or a local awareness campaign. In fact, it appears under the awareness column on the campaign objectives. These campaigns are optimized for maximum reach. Remember we talked earlier with those pie charts how that big pie chart represents 100% of the people in your audience. Well, if you chose a campaign like clicks to website, Facebook is only going to optimize the campaign for people who are likely to click on your website. This campaign is not like that. It's a maximum exposure campaign. Everybody inside of this local area is going to see your ad. This ad type is ideal for maximum exposure, but again, remember, Facebook is not profiling these people based on their past behavior, so your ability to get conversion sales is going to be decreased. It's strictly based on maximum exposure inside of a local market. The fourth campaign on the page is simply increase brand awareness. Now, this is much like the campaign we just covered, people near your business, except it's not so much on a local scale. It's ideal for getting a maximum number of eyes on your ad without optimization for other engagements or conversions. Now, one possible use to use the increased brand awareness campaign objective would be to quote unquote warm up your audience with this ad before sending another type of campaign objective to that person. So let's just say we want people to know that we exist. We're going to send this out. We want as many people as possible to see it. Well, now when you send a conversion ad to that person, they may be more likely to convert because they have a little bit of familiarity with your brand. This might be a good point to pause for a second and say that your business objectives have a lot to do with which campaign objective you choose. Now, if you're a seven-figure business, you have money coming out your ears, and you just want to try some of these things, maybe a brand awareness campaign to just expand your reach a little bit would be worth your while. But if you're looking for ROI on day one, most of the campaigns we just covered in this first column aren't going to help you reach that objective. Let's move over to the consideration column and start by talking about send people to your website. I typically call this a clicks campaign. What this means is that Facebook is optimizing this campaign to send people within your audience who are likely to reach this objective, which is, of course, click on your website. Now, I'm a digital marketer. I love interacting with people's Facebook ads, so I get targeted a lot because I am a likely to convert type of person. I'm certainly likely to click. My wife, on the other hand, doesn't like to click on things on Facebook unless she knows exactly what it is. What this means is that if we were both inside of your target audience, I might see your ad and she might not. I've got a pattern of behavior that tells Facebook I'm likely to click on this ad, so they're more likely to send that ad to me. Now, the clicks to website campaign is a really good starter campaign to kind of see what sort of general interest your audience has with your content. The clicks to website campaign is also the second best way to get conversions. Now, we talked about that big pie chart, and only 20% of the people might be optimized for a conversion. Well, the clicks to website campaign is going to be a little bit broader. So if you are trying to get conversions, this is a good place to start out. Another good reason to use the clicks to website campaign is if you've already run a conversion campaign and you saw that your frequency started creeping up and up and up, but you really like the audience you're marketing to. So now you want to find a way to expand the reach within that audience. Well, the clicks to website campaign is going to filter a little bit less discriminately, and that means that more people inside that audience are going to see your ad. You can do it one of two different ways. Start with a conversion campaign and move to a clicks to website campaign to increase your reach, or you can start with a clicks to website campaign, start to build a profile of the people that are clicking on your page, and then get more granular, switching to a conversion campaign, which we'll cover later on. Now, one of the really valuable things that you're going to get from a clicks to website campaign is you're going to start building pixel data. We have an entire lesson in this module that's going to be talking about pixels. But ultimately what a pixel is that Facebook will memorize the people who visit specific pages on your website and allow you to remarket to those people based on their past behavior. By doing a clicks to website campaign, you're going to begin the process of sending traffic to your website and building this pixel data that we can really use to increase your ROI later on. If you do a really good job of writing content, you have blog posts that people love, clicks to website is another really good campaign for that. What you can do is publish a blog post, get clicks to it, and either put embedded calls to action on that page or really just know that you're building an audience that you can retarget later with a conversion campaign. And finally, the last reason that I like to use clicks to website campaigns is for retargeting. We'll talk about this again in another lesson, but retargeting is trying to get people who started the process of conversion but didn't complete it. Let's just say that you have your lead magnet, someone clicks on your landing page to look at your lead magnet, but they don't actually convert. Well, that person is now added to your pixel data because you have that pixel on your landing page, and you know that that person hasn't taken the conversion event that you want, which is downloading the lead magnet and joining your email list. Well, clicks to website is the best way to drive your retargeting campaigns to those people because it's going to be a lot less discriminatory about who gets those retargeting ads. So anytime I run retargeting, I always run that as a clicks to website campaign. The next objective inside of this consideration column is get installs of your app. This is pretty self-explanatory, and like the title says, it optimizes your ad for people who are likely to download your app. Again, previous behavior is a good indication of potential future behavior. So we know that people who have downloaded the apps the last 30 days, especially from Facebook, Facebook knows who those people are. Now they can optimize your ad for people who are likely to download apps. The next objective here is raise attendance at your event. This allows you to create an event inside of the Facebook platform and promote that to a targeted audience. You've probably had a friend invite you to a barbecue before and you get all these notifications, hey, someone's bringing barbecue sauce, I'm bringing chips. It's that same event platform that Facebook has inside of their little Facebook universe, but now it allows you to create that event and push it to a targeted group of people. Now, the event campaign sounds good in theory, but I've generated much higher event attendance using conversion campaigns, and again, we're going to get to that here in a little bit. One of the reasons I don't like the event campaign is that, again, this all lives inside of the Facebook universe, which means they're not leaving Facebook to go to our landing pages. We miss out on all that valuable pixel data. And again, the event page that Facebook's going to create for you isn't necessarily optimized to get that conversion. It's simply a page. It looks like every other post on Facebook, and it's not going to get as many conversions as a really well-designed landing page that advertises an event. Now, the next objective that we're going to talk about is one of the fastest growing ones on Facebook. Get video views, or simply called a video campaign. Now, it's important to know that you can use videos as the media with your other campaign objectives. You could use a clicks to website campaign, and instead of putting an image in it, you could put a video in it. The same thing goes with conversion campaigns. But the thing that's unique about the video campaign objective is that it's optimized for engagement. Facebook loves to brag about how many people are engaged with their videos on Facebook, and they're pushing more and more and more videos into people's news streams. What this means is that our average cost per view, or our CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, is typically going to be lower on a video because Facebook is pushing this media so much. Now, a couple negative things about videos. The first is that it isn't optimized for conversion. So again, this is the engagement campaign. It's going to as wide a group of people as possible inside of your target audience. The other thing about videos is that they live inside of the Facebook video window. Now, you can put a link inside of a video ad that sends someone to another page, but you've clicked on these ads before, they take over your entire screen. There's not really a call to action inside of that video player. I'll tell you one of the reasons that I like video campaigns so much. First of all, it is built all around engagement. Facebook is trying to push this to as many people as possible. Now, because people are viewing this inside of Facebook, we're not able to pixel them. They're never leaving Facebook to go to our landing page in most cases. However, Facebook does allow you to target people based on their engagement with your video. So what this means is that you can push out a video campaign and get massive engagement. Then you can come back and say, people who watch at least 10 seconds of my video, I want to put over in this little audience over here. Now, we don't technically have pixel data on those people, but Facebook does. And so they'll allow us to create these little audiences, people who watch 10 seconds, people who watch 20 seconds, people who watch a minute and a half. We can create these little audiences based on their engagement with our videos and then retarget people. This is one of the cheapest ways to build a group of people who are aware of your brand, who have interacted with your video content, and now you can retarget those people with an offer now that they're a little bit warmed up to who you are. That being said, I would still say the clicks to website campaign would be the first campaign that I would recommend running because you're not building that pixel data or the conversion data to use in a conversion campaign later on, because all of that campaign engagement happens inside of Facebook. Now, the last campaign that appears under this consideration column with Facebook is collect leads for your business. This is one of the newer ad formats. The unique thing about lead ads is that they do not require a landing page in order to capture someone's name and email address. What happens is as soon as somebody clicks on this, it automatically pre-populates a little form with the person's profile data. So if I were to click on it, Jonathan Musgrave would appear in the name and my email address would appear automatically in that email address field. All the user has to do is click on the ad and click a second time to submit the form, and that is it. Now, I've done really well using lead ads, so I'm going to talk about why I like them, but before I cover that, I do want to make sure I cover the cons of using lead ads. The first con is that the email address that's linked to that person's Facebook account may or may not be their primary email address. I know that's the case for me. If I really want to read something, I'm going to send it to a separate email address, and it's not the same email address that's linked to my Facebook profile. Now, the user can go in and delete the address that automatically appears and put in a better email address, but more often than not, because of the ease of use and because it's pre-populated, it's just click and it's submitted. The other thing that's a little bit different about lead ads is that your ad now has to do two things. Now, we talked earlier about the interdependency of our different campaign elements. The ad's job is to get the click, the landing page job is to get the conversion. In this instance, because we don't have a landing page to further sell whatever it is that we're advertising, we're 100% dependent on the ad to both get the click and get the conversion. Now, this isn't necessarily a negative, but we just have to be cognizant of this when we create our ad copy. We might have to, quote unquote, sell a little bit harder, do a little bit better job of explaining exactly what's about to happen. If it's a lead magnet, here's what you're going to get. Here's what it's going to do for you. We might have to put a little bit more selling points into our ad copy because we don't have the landing page to supplement. Another perceived negative of lead campaigns is that we're limited to the design options that Facebook gives us. In order to run a lead ad, Facebook will require you to create what they call a card. The card is basically the mini landing page that your form is going to live on, and also a short little card that acts as a thank you page. Now, you can put images on here, you can customize a few things like the button text, you can put a link to your website on the thank you page lead card, but we're very limited on what we could put in here. This is designed for simplicity. Simplicity has a positive and it has a negative. The positive is that it's very easy for someone to convert. The negative is that we have fewer of these options that we can use. Another thing to know about lead ads is that they don't seamlessly integrate with your autoresponder. It requires some sort of third party or manual import to get leads into your funnel or your database. So if you're familiar with a page builder like Lead Pages or Unbounce, there's some sort of integration that's going to take the information from that form and send it directly into a campaign, send out an autoresponder, whatever it might be. That is not the case with lead ads. It simply is going to collect the data, and whatever happens from there is on you. Now, there is a third-party app that I really like that's called Zapier. You can download it and get a 14-day free trial and run lead ads right out of the box. What Zapier does is basically connects lead ads with a lot of the really popular autoresponders out there. It works with Infusionsoft and MailChimp and ActiveCampaign and a whole list of others. Zapier will actually take the lead form data and push it directly into your campaign. However, if you don't have Zapier or if you're not using it, you'll have to download a spreadsheet of these people and manually upload them. If you don't use an integration like something with Zapier, there could be a lull in time between the time the person converts and the time you're able to upload them. So it's really important to make sure you've got a plan once you start generating leads to how to get those people into your campaign and give them whatever content it was that they opted in for. Now, finally, the last thing about lead ads that are a little bit of a challenge is that it never drives people to your website, which means that we're not getting that pixel data. 100% of this happens inside of the Facebook ecosystem. They never leave Facebook. It's a good thing because it's super simple, but again, we're sacrificing the ability to pixel those people and then retarget them. So hopefully I haven't completely talked you out of using lead ads. Now I'm about to give you the things I really like about them. First of all, lead ads were introduced primarily on the mobile platform for a long time. In fact, they were exclusive to mobile advertising. Now you can do this both on desktops and on mobile devices. If you tend to get really good conversion numbers on desktop computers, it used to be a tough thing that you couldn't use lead ads on desktops. Now you can. The other great thing about lead ads is that there's really very little buying resistance. Lots of people click on ads and fewer people convert from our ads. But when converting is as painless as simply tapping that button a second time, our conversion rates can explode. So if we do a good job of designing ad copy, using the right images, the framework that the lead objective provides is going to make this a really high converting and inexpensive campaign to run. Now, we talked about the fact that people stay inside the Facebook ecosystem as a negative just a second ago, but that's also a positive. Sometimes it'll take a minute for our pages to load, especially on someone's mobile device if they don't have great service. Facebook lead ads are almost instantaneous. Literally the second somebody clicks it, the form is already there. It's pre-populated with their info. They just click a second time and the opt-in is complete. So again, they never leave Facebook. That can be a challenge, but also can be a very good thing because it drastically reduces buying resistance. Finally, lead ads, because they're so streamlined, can be a very inexpensive, cost-effective way to build an email list rapidly. One creative way to use a lead ad would be to run an engagement campaign with a video ad and then retarget those people with a lead ad to where these people have already gone through some of that educational content through your video, and now converting is as simple as click, and that's it. Now we're going to move over here to the third and final column and look at the conversion portion, starting with increased conversions on your website. I typically just call these conversion campaigns. So when you hear me later on in the future lessons talk about a conversion campaign, this is the one I'm talking about, the one with the little globe directly under the conversion column. The reason I get so excited about conversion campaigns is because it's really our first opportunity as small budget advertisers to leverage what I call predictive analytics. I read an article in a magazine a few years ago, and it talked about how these giant health insurance companies are using predictive analytics to massively grow their sales. It basically showed that because people have taken this action and this action and this action, then they're likely to purchase insurance of a certain product within the next 12 months. And by doing these predictive analytics, they were able to massively increase their sales. Well, now Facebook is aggregating all that data for us, and it's going to make it super easy for us to optimize our ads to people who have already gone through those predictive analytics steps. The way this works is that Facebook automatically looks at your audience's past behavior and then sends your ads to people who are most likely to convert. This eliminates a lot of the guesswork that we do when we target, and it gives our ads directly to the people that we want to see them. We talked about the 80-20 rule. Of course, we need to do everything we can to target as tightly as possible. But even after we've done as best a job that we possibly can, Facebook's going to do even more and say, okay, of the 100,000 people that you've identified here, we know that these 60% of them are likely to convert, so we're only going to spend your money on those people. What this means is if we do a great job of creating a good lead magnet and a good landing page, Facebook's going to do the heavy lifting of getting it in front of exactly the right people. So how does Facebook know that these people are likely to convert? And this kind of is a segue into a little pitch I'm going to give for pixels. Now, if you watch the overview video, you know that there's an entire lesson coming up later on in Module 3 about pixels. We'll get into it in great detail in that module. But just as a quick snippet, I'll explain to you basically how pixels work. You may not even know it, but since you've created a Facebook advertising campaign, Facebook has already given you the ability to use Facebook pixels. In fact, if you click on this little hamburger icon in the top left-hand corner, and then you click on this All Tools button, you'll see right here the Facebook pixel option. What a pixel is a tiny piece of code that you embed in the background of your landing pages that basically tells Facebook how people behave on that page. Now you're going to have a basic Facebook pixel that you should plaster on every single online asset that you own. On your home page, on your contact page, on your sales page, this pixel should be everywhere. But then what Facebook does is they give us these things that are called standard events. And what a standard event is one line of code that you literally copy and paste into the middle section of the pixel. And this identifies specific actions that people take on unique pages. Now, let's just say, for instance, you've got a very simple process. Page 1 is your landing page. Page 2 is your thank you page. You know that the people that go to the thank you page, the only way for them to have gotten to the thank you page is that they filled out the form on the landing page. So what happens is when we put our Facebook pixel and add in the event that Facebook gives us called leads, Facebook is automatically going to differentiate the people who are simply website traffic and the people who converted as a lead. Now, how does that relate to conversion objectives? What this means is that as the same user repeats a pattern of behavior that results in a leads conversion, Facebook knows that. And now when that person is inside of our audience and we run a conversion campaign, they're targeting people who have already converted. A good example of how Facebook conversion optimization can work for us is the idea of buying a bike. A few years ago, I got really big into biking. I bought a really expensive carbon fiber road bike, but I realized after the fact that there are a lot of other things I had to purchase afterward. I had to purchase bike shorts, a special bike jersey, a nice helmet, some glasses, some shoes, some pedals. There were all sorts of these paraphernalia products that went along with that purchase. Well, if you were an advertiser who was trying to sell biking accessories to people who had already converted for purchasing a bicycle would be prime candidates to buy all of your auxiliary products. This is where a conversion campaign is absolutely the right campaign to use. If you do a really good job of defining your audience of people who are biking enthusiasts, and then you use the campaign objective, Facebook is going to say, okay, not only are these people biking enthusiasts, but they are likely to convert because we saw them do it over here. Now they're going to serve your ad just to the people who are likely to convert. It's going to drastically reduce the amount of wasted ad spend that you have, and it's going to give you leads for a much, much reduced cost. Something to know about conversion campaigns is that you cannot run a conversion campaign until there's already traffic on your pixel. The reason for this is that pixel that you put on your thank you page that basically shows Facebook that there's been a conversion, they're literally optimizing it for that specific conversion event. Now, if there haven't been any conversions of that kind before, they have nothing to optimize it on. So what would be a really good thing to do is to run a clicks to website campaign, allow for some of those people to convert. Now Facebook will start to learn who are the people that are most likely to convert for this particular offer. Now, once they start to see the commonalities of these people who have converted on your thank you page, now they can go out and find more and more and more of those people and do a really good job of serving your ads to the right people. This is a process that I call sharpening your pixel. In other words, your pixel on day one is a blank slate, but as you start to get more and more people who interact with that pixel, Facebook's going to learn and they'll say, hey, everybody who's buying your red t-shirts or buying your bicycle parts or whatever it is, all of these people happen to be men within this particular age group that have this particular asset class. And now when you go out and build an audience, Facebook is going way far and above beyond what you and I could do in targeting to send it to people who are ideally suited to convert for your offer. The top Facebook marketers across the country rely heavily on conversion campaigns almost exclusively. Inside of the conversion campaign, you can choose to use a single image that looks like most Facebook posts look. You can do what they call a carousel image where it's multiple ones and they can scroll through and see multiple different images for the same ad, or you could even do a video inside of a conversion campaign. So again, just because this isn't a video campaign doesn't mean we can't use video inside of our conversion campaign. My admonition to you would be this is the number one campaign that you want to focus on mastering if your objective with Facebook ads is to generate leads or to generate sales. Now, throughout Module 3, we'll be going through in great detail a lot of the Facebook ad builder. Most of the time when I show you examples of that, I will be building conversion campaigns. The good news is that a lot of the steps that we're going to take with building audiences and picking creative, those apply to almost every single ad format out there. But just know, conversion campaigns is the number one thing I'm going to focus on because, in my opinion, it's the number one campaign objective that most of you should be using. The next objective on here is increase engagement with your app. This is intended to increase app usage for people who have already downloaded your application. The thing that makes it different than the app installs is that you can actually take people to certain locations within your app. Let's just say based off your previous Facebook ad campaign activity, you can identify the people who've already downloaded your app. Well, if you had a gaming app, you could have an ad that says, click right now to play whatever game it is, and it will take you directly into that screen of the application. So it's not going to send them to the download screen. It's going to take take them within the actual application to that specific page. Or let's say, for instance, they're trying to get people to challenge their friends to play a certain game with them. It could take them directly to the challenge friends page inside of the application. Now, one way that I've seen this used a lot is that I'm a fan of fantasy sports. I play a lot of fantasy football, and one of the apps that I use is called DraftKings. It's a daily fantasy app. I've started to see DraftKings ads inside of my newsfeed that say, hey, challenge your friends on DraftKings. It will take me directly to the screen inside of the application so that I can challenge my friends. So if you've built an app and you already have a user base of people who have downloaded it, increasing engagement might be a good campaign for you to use. The next conversion objective here is to get people to claim your offer. This allows us as advertisers to give a time-sensitive offer to either our page followers, friends of followers, or a targeted group of people. Think about this as a Facebook Groupon. Now, if you're like me, you probably get 45 Groupon emails every single day. Here's massages in your area, buy flowers for your wife, all of these different things that appear in Groupons. Facebook is trying to compete with that market space. They've actually created the ability to create an offer inside of the Facebook ecosystem that people can click and buy directly through Facebook. The nice thing about doing it this way is that once somebody actually purchases it and takes you up on your offer, it's going to automatically send push notifications to those people to remind them to claim the offer. So let's just say you ran a restaurant, you had buy one, get one free wings on Thursday nights. Somebody could click and claim that offer, and then when Thursday night rolls around, it will actually send a push notification and say, hey, tonight is the night that you want to use your buy one, get one free wings coupon. Now, depending on what sort of business you run, this can be redeemable in one of two different formats. If you run a brick and mortar business, it'll actually generate either a barcode or a QR code that they can bring into the store and you can scan on their phone in order to redeem the offer. Or if it's an online offer, it'll generate a coupon code that they can plug into your website and get whatever sort of discount it is that you're offering. The last conversion objective that we're going to talk about is to promote a product catalog. This allows you to upload your online store's catalog and dynamically send ads for specific products to specific people. The way this works is it leverages pixel data to chase people on Facebook who have already viewed content on your website. So let's go back to our biking example. If I was on the Specialized Bicycle website and I clicked all the way down through their site until I got to one specific helmet, Facebook can put a specific pixel on me and then upload all of their different products into a Facebook catalog and then serve ads to me specifically for the product that I viewed on their website. If you've ever had this feeling that Facebook is chasing you with specific offers that you've already looked at on people's pages, this is a lot of times how people do it. Now, the advantage of using a product catalog is that you're not forced to create an individual ad for every single product that you offer. What you can do is create a product template. And then based on keywords, you can dynamically insert different ad text, different images, different pricing, and different page destination links for every single product that you offer. This is a huge time saver for people who sell on e-commerce or have some sort of online store because you can put your entire product catalog and create an ad for that just through uploading your catalog through here and attaching the correct keywords and images to that. All right, so we've done an overview of all of these different campaign objectives. You might be scratching your head a little bit and saying, I don't even know where I should go. Well, let me clarify for you. In my opinion, there are 4 campaign objectives you should really focus on. The first one is clicks to website. Start building your pixel data. See how people are responding to your content. The second one is getting video views. The ability that Facebook has given us to target people based on their engagement with our videos is almost unparalleled in the marketing space. It's a really good way to get inexpensive impressions and then chase those people around with really specific ads. The third one is leads. Lead ads are a very inexpensive and efficient way for beginner Facebook advertisers to start to generate leads on Facebook. Now again, we have to do a great job of putting good content in our ad because this ad has to both get the click and get the conversion. But if we can accomplish that based on what we've learned in modules 1 and 2 about identifying the right audience and making great offers, then Facebook leads are a great way to do it. And finally, I've probably beat the pulpit enough on this, but increased conversion on your website or a conversion campaign is, in my opinion, the number one campaign that all of us should be focused on if our objective is to get leads or to get sales through Facebook. Being able to leverage predictive analytics as a small advertiser on a small budget without a lot of tech prowess is unparalleled in the marketing space, and Facebook's making that super accessible to us through the conversion campaign. Now, just to recap quickly, the format for many of these ads are very similar, and the majority of examples throughout the rest of the lessons in Module 3 will be based off of conversion ads. But the good news is that the core skills that you need to know apply to all of the different campaign objectives. So picking images or videos that get attention, writing great ad copy, and then targeting your ad to the correct audience applies to all these campaign objectives. Well, speaking of targeting, that's what we're going to talk about in Lesson 2. We're going to do a deep dive into building the perfect audience for your ads, regardless of which campaign objective you choose to use. I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with this interface, click around on here. As long as you don't click buy, you're not spending any money or doing something that can't be undone. But get familiar with this page, and if you want to learn more about it, you can hover over each one of these things, and it'll give you a brief snippet of what each one of these things cover. More than anything, I want to familiarize you with the various options that are available to you, and also push you in the right direction for the campaigns that have the highest potential to bring you success.